The police officer arrived at his apartment that evening, flipped open his casebook, and pressed the pen's tip against a blank incident report. "Your name?" asked the officer. "Levi Wanderlust." "Like the jeans?" "Yes, Levi." "Wonder. Lust. With an Wanderlust," he said in monotone. "Wanderlust? That name sounds familiar. Do you have a relative in the police department?" "I'm a detective, Western Hollywood Division." "You're a detective? One day I'll get a haircut." Wanderlust showed him his badge and said, "The first 48 hours are crucial to solving a missing persons case." "You're filing a missing persons report." "My testicle is missing." The officer scrolled down the page with his pen and said, "When was the last time you saw it?" "A couple of hours ago. It was in my living room. Then it walked out the front door. That's the last I've seen of it." "Was there an argument or altercation?" "No, we get along. We've lived together for years." "Does it have any tattoos or scars?" "A small mole in the lower region." The officer seemed to be familiar with the region. "Does it have relatives that live nearby?" "No." "Any friends or acquaintances it would stay with?" "Not that I know of." "Was it traveling by car? If so, I'll need the make, model, and license plate number. It doesn't have a driver's permit." "Does it have mental health issues?" "Not that I'm aware of." "Have you checked social media for any clues as to its whereabouts?" "It's never been online." He scribbled on his pad, looking Wanderlust over. "That's all for now. I'll contact you as soon as we have an update." Wanderlust walked 3 blocks from his place to You Are Here for a Reason Boulevard, stopping pedestrians to ask if they'd seen his testicle. "Your what?" asked one tourist. "Excuse me, get away from me," said another. "You weirdo," muttered a man climbing onto his motorcycle. A college-aged woman threw her hot coffee in his face and punched him in the chest, screaming, "Fire! Fire! Fire!" Wanderlust took off running west down You Are Here for a Reason, finally stopping at the Bourbon Theater. There, a shirtless young man in skin-tight shorts was flexing his triceps while pushing a vacuum cleaner on the sidewalk beneath the theater's glowing marquee. It was a newer model, a sleek Hoover with stainless steel casing. The cords appeared to be in good working order. "Have you seen a testicle?" Wanderlust asked. "Not yet, but it's still early," the man said, gesturing at the vacuum. "You want to buy this?" Wanderlust didn't answer. Instead, he walked a mile east, rolling the upright vacuum behind him until he reached the Chateau Pompouse. The hotel, perched on the corner of You Are Here for a Reason and an inclined side street disappearing into the Hollywood Hills, was known for housing a mix of long-term and short-term residents, people either climbing the ladder of success or tumbling from it. Inside the chateau's dimly lit bar, Wanderlust found himself surrounded by celebrities, drug dealers, and desperate movie producers. He approached the first person he saw, a man nursing a vodka martini at the bar. "Have you seen a testicle hanging out around here?" Wanderlust asked. The man laughed, the first person to do so all day. "Is that a joke? Why did the testicle walk into the bar? You a comedian or something?" "If I were, I'd want to be Rodney Dangerfield. I watch his Johnny Carson reruns. Funny guy." Wanderlust replied, "Whatever. I like old television shows. Nobody cares about the past. All of us can learn from history. No one gives a damn about history." The man was a well-known, washed-up Hollywood actor, his career ruined after a fistfight with a high-powered social media sneaker influencer. "His followers! Like he's Jesus fucking Christ! Followers!" The actor slurred, gesturing wildly with his drink. "They're all over the internet talking shit about me. Ruined my career. No auditions, no talk show gigs. Nobody wants me on their set because of lies his followers are spreading." Wanderlust scooped a handful of complimentary peanuts from the dish on the bar. "It's your face. Kiss the leading man roles goodbye once you hit a certain age." "Watch your mouth, asshole." The actor turned, puffing out his chest. "I'll handle you like I handled the sneaker pimp. Who even let you in here dressed like that? All you need is a bow and arrow and a peace pipe. I bet you've got a picture of Sitting Bull in your pocket." "Hollywood wants youth," Wanderlust said flatly. "What do you know about the film business?" The actor sneered, his tone dripping with condescension. "You dumb Indian." Wanderlust caught the eye of a desperate producer at the bar, who looked up from his drink and nodded, seemingly in agreement. The actor sighed, slumping on his stool. "Well, maybe you're right. I haven't been getting the big-budget scripts because I'm not younger. My agent keeps telling me I'm still on the hot list, but he's a good liar, like most agents. He polished off his martini. Wow, it takes a dumb Indian in a bar to give me a reality check about show business. Glad I could help, Wanderlust said. By the way, have you seen my testicle? No, I haven't seen your testicle, the actor snapped. It escaped on its own free will, and it could return at any time on its own free will. He had a point, Wanderlust thought. Maybe his testicle did leave of its own volition. It could come back when it wanted. Sitting on the stool, Wanderlust began contemplating his testicle's autonomy. Was he not giving it enough time to return? Did it need freedom? What if it was sick or injured? His ruminations carried him to the entrance of Second Amendment urgent care. Wanderlust passed the security guard and approached the admissions desk where a nurse sat behind a computer. What is your medical issue? The nurse asked without looking up. It's regarding a testicle. When did this start? Over 3 hours ago. Are you experiencing pain? No, mostly guilt and confusion. Have you contracted a virus in the last 2 months? Which one? Wanderlust asked. David and Goliath syndrome, League of Legends disease, or any virus? I have tinnitus. Is that from China? No, he said, squinting at her. It's from listening to AC/DC at full volume with headphones. What is your full name? Levi Dancing Bear Wanderlust. Are you Native American? Do I look Native American? She studied him. I guess so. You've got high cheekbones, a bent nose, reddish-brown skin tone, coarse dark hair, and you talk slowly. She typed something into her computer. Your date of birth? Infinity. She frowned but pressed on. Open your mouth. She slid a thermometer under his tongue. Don't talk. The device beeped. 96.7, she muttered before taking his blood pressure. It's high. Are you feeling dizzy? Experiencing chest pains? No, I'm just here to check if a testicle admitted to the emergency room in the last 3 or 4 hours. She squinted, unsure whether to believe him. I see. Did you skip your medication today? Did you know you could buy a dose of cocaine and a syringe from Sears Roebuck for $1.50 in the late 19th century? No, she said, rolling her eyes. Pharmaceutical companies don't care about people. They care about profits. I don't care about the history of pharmaceutical companies. Do you have insurance? He handed over his insurance card. Insurance companies are just as bad, he added. Snatching the card from his hand, she started jotting down the information. Give me your wrist, she ordered, fastening a wristband around it. You need to see a doctor. Hypertension is a silent killer. I'm here for my testicle. Sure, Mr. Wanderlust. Tell the doctor. She motioned toward the waiting area. Have a seat and wait for your name to be called. She rolled her eyes again before signaling to the security guard, who disappeared into the back. Moments later, he returned with 2 men in white uniforms. Sir, he said to Wanderlust, go with these gentlemen. They will help you. Wanderlust was escorted by each arm through the double doors and into a private room with a steel gurney. The room was stocked with syringes, bandages, defibrillators, jars of cotton swabs, and various sterile-looking paraphernalia. Strip down and put on the gown, said one of them as he walked out. An attractive redhead walked in wearing a white lab coat while he struggled to tie his gown. The open part should be in the back, not the front, she said. It was too late to fix the gown. I'm Dr. Mellon, with the psychiatric department. I'd like to ask you a series of questions, Mr. Wanderlust. Psychiatric department? I thought this was about my hypertension, the silent killer. Why did you come to the hospital today? All right, Dr. Mellon, I know where you're going with this. Strange things do happen to everybody, she said, and sometimes our minds play tricks on us. It's my understanding that you came to the emergency room looking for something. I filed an MTR. She nodded while typing his response on a computer tablet in her hand, then paused. MTR? Missing Testicle Report. I made a statement to the police about what occurred earlier this evening. Do you always file these types of reports with the police? I know it's hard to believe a man could watch his testicle walk out the door, but that's what happened. He glanced at the clock on the wall. I have 44 hours to find my testicle. You need to wrap things up, Doctor, so I can continue my search. Shouldn't you leave the search up to the police department? I'm a detective, Dr. Mellon. Mr. Wanderlust, you're not a detective. He grabbed his pants off the gurney and pulled out his badge. Being a detective, I listen to people make statements regarding strange incidents, and sometimes those incidents are hard to believe, but true. As a psychiatrist, I experienced the same during my evaluations. She eyed his badge with suspicion. How long have you been a detective? Long enough to know that people will commit crimes if they think they can get away with them. Her eyes widened, focusing on his opened gown that exposed his old friend. Okay, Mr. Wanderlust, I see that you are a man of truth. That will be all. I'm discharging you. Good luck on your search. At midnight, he walked to the home of a woman who would tell him firsthand if his testicle was missing. She enjoyed cooking late at night and drinking bottles of expensive French wine. When he arrived, she was making fettuccine alfredo. After the meal, they sat on the couch, and he told her everything that had happened. She was of course upset to hear that his testicle had gone AWOL because she had become friendly with it over the last 10 years of their relationship. Drop your pants, Levi. I want to see for myself. I want to make sure this isn't another one of your wild stories. Are you on peyote? You Indians are all the same. It's either the drink or the peyote. I haven't seen the great vision warrior since becoming a detective. She started laughing uncontrollably. A detective? Is that what you are this week? He didn't answer her when she hurt his feelings. She could be cruel with her shameful tone. She wasn't always like that, but people change. Her father had left her with too much money. She had never worked a day in her life. Like most of the kids in the zip code, she was a trust fund baby. 7 days a week, she popped Xanax like candy. I'm sorry, Levi. Of course, I know you're a detective. You're a brilliant detective with the Western Holly Division. Hollywas? Western Hollywas Division, he said. Drop your pants and let me see if your story holds up. She sat on the couch with her arms crossed and a sour expression on her face. Her name was Delilah Speakman. She was the sole heir to the high-powered divorce attorney, Samuel Speakman, who was despised by billionaire husbands around the globe. 2 years ago, Samuel was murdered in Vegas after winning $300,000 at the craps table. The case was closed as a robbery homicide, but rumors were that a casino boss put the hit on him because he didn't like the settlement that Sammy got for his ex-wife. Delilah lived in a mansion with her 16-year-old son, who had dropped out of high school to become a rap artist. His name was Jason, aka Lil Scrunch. He was a scrawny white kid who had never set foot in a black neighborhood. Wanderlust's pants were halfway to his ankles when the kid swaggered into the room, talking like a gangster. Yo, I want to spit my shit for you. We cool? I threw this shit down in my studio today. You're gonna be the first nigger to hear it. Delilah jumped off the couch and said, I can't listen to him or his shit music anymore. What happened to my baby? She ran into the kitchen and popped a Xanax. Wanderlust pulled up his pants. The kid walked out of the room. Delilah staggered back with a full glass of Chardonnay. With a vacant expression, she stood in front of a painting on the wall of her father. He was the only man I ever loved. I'm sorry to tell you this. I don't even love that kid. He has an identity crisis like you. I don't have any crises. I'm the daughter of Samuel Speakman, the most celebrated attorney in the country. Sammy is dead. Your identity can't be with a dead person. You have to make your own life, not live a dead person's life. I'm the executor of his estate. It's my job to be his eyes and ears. He has no eyes or ears. He was cremated. He's a pile of ashes. Her face tightened and her eyes narrowed. My father never liked you. He always said, you were a big, naive guy who needs to get back to reality. Why do you say things like that? I liked Sammy, and he liked me. She started crying. My father liked you too. He would never say that about you. I'm sorry, Levi. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I feel like I'm losing my mind, you know? When we first met, you had light around you. You glowed and the sun followed you. Now you're a dark piece of coal. Do you forgive me? Please forgive me, Levi. Your father would want you to be happy. I hope one day you can be. She started crying harder and screaming, I want to be happy! Oh God, why can't I be happy? At dawn, Wanderlust awoke on her couch to the sound of rap music. The kid was lurching over him in his face, rapping, $1 million chains round my neck. My vibe is on fire, you can't top that. I say the word dead. Make my doubters rethink instead. The kid finished his rap and yelled, "My rhymes are tight, man." Walking east at dawn, on the 2-mile stretch toward Western Hollywood, Wanderlust passed by the pastel facade of the Middle East Oil and Refinery Hotel, keeping course onto You Are Here for a Reason. He passed by Mel Gibson's Fine Wines and Spirits, the Suicide is an Option bar, and 2 other establishments dedicated to the inebriation of the famous and not so famous. Before long, he was unlocking his front door to the smell of cigar smoke and the music of Miles Davis's Sketches of Spain. And there it was, his testicle, lounging on the sofa, looking relaxed. "Where have you been? I've been waiting for you, buddy." "I was out," said Wanderlust. "I was worried about you." His testicle puffed on a cigar and exhaled. 1 puff for attention. It puffed on the cigar again and blew out 2 plumes of smoke. 2 puffs for all is well. He dragged 1 last time and exhaled 3 separate puffs. Danger, trouble, need help. There was a loud knock on the door. His testicle disappeared into the bedroom. Wanderlust opened to the officer who had taken the missing testicle report. He had returned with 2 other police officers. "Mr. Wanderlust, we've stopped by several times and you have not answered the door, although we did smell your cigar and heard the music playing." "Oh yes, that was my testicle. He has come back and appears to be in good spirits." "We wanted to talk to you about your report that you filed and your impersonation of an officer." "I'd like to withdraw that report since everything is back to normal." "Normal? That's what we want to talk to you about down at the station." "You want to talk about normal?" asked Wanderlust. The officer reached for his handcuffs. "From my investigation, I discovered that you filed many reports about your testicle. I contacted the police department on a few occasions. You have filed 73 reports with our department about your testicle. That's why your name was familiar to me, because the officers in the department have talked about you and your testicle." 73? But that's over 12 years, said Wanderlust. That's an average of 6.08 reports annually. That's not bad. You've dispatched the fire department on numerous occasions to your residence regarding your testicle. You would do the same thing. You're a man. It's your identity. You showed me a badge. You told me you were a detective. Your arrest record shows that you've impersonated judges, doctors, and politicians. Mr. Wanderlust, the officers and I would like to help you. If anything changes, I'll let you know, officer. Everything is normal. He gestured to them to leave, but all 3 officers grabbed him, wrestling his big Native American frame to the floor. That's what we'll help you with. Normal? Wanderlust cried out.